What's up guys, this is Alan. Winter's coming. Yes, if you grow tropical plants or any other plants that take damage during the winter time, well guess what? This video is for you. In today's episode, I'm going to be giving you several tips what to do before winter gets here, and also for some of you where winter is here already, these tips are going to help you. So if you want to keep your plants alive during the winter time and at the same time save some money, well, make sure you stick to the end. What's up guys, let's go ahead and get started with the first thing, and that is you need to identify what type of plant do you have. Do you have a frost sensitive plant or do you have a cold sensitive plant? In areas where the lowest temperature gets into the low 20s, in zones 9 plus, there are going to be two different classifications for winter care. The first one is going to be frost sensitive plants like this Barbados cherry tree. As long as you keep the ice away from it, it will make it through the winter time. As long as the temperatures around the tree do not get anything lower than 20 degrees or so. A cold sensitive plant, on the other hand, you can go ahead and frost protect it, but guess what? Inside that cover, it's still cold, and the ambient temperature will damage a plant like this Jamaican cherry tree right here, also known as a strawberry tree. So how can you protect a plant like this? Well, what you do is you build a cold frame like this mango tree right here, and you wrap it around to hold the heat in there, and that will get your plant through most winters where the temperatures linger into the mid 20s. But if it gets into the lower 20s, you're gonna need to supplement with heat. Yes, you're gonna have to put a heater in there, or you're gonna have to put some halogen lights or electric heaters or whatever it is to change the ambient temperature around the tree to protect it. Because if it gets too cold for too long, even if you cover these plants, they will take damage. Those are cold sensitive plants. Once you have identified what type of plant do you have, well, now it's time to save some money. You need to go online right now and you need to purchase the materials that you're gonna need to protect your plant, because it's a lot cheaper to do it right now than to wait until the last minute, because prices are just gonna skyrocket. So what's one of the first things that you need? Well, it's gonna be frost cloth. You can buy it in different ways. You can have pre-cut pieces. They come in 10 by 10, 10 by 15, 10 by 20, different sizes. If you have a few trees, that's the best way to actually save the most money. Now, if you have a lot of trees like I do, how do you protect all these plants? It will take so much money to buy so much frost cloth to protect every single one. Well, what I do, guys, I buy it in bulk. You can buy rolls like 12 feet wide by 1,000 feet long. And even though it's gonna be several $100s, that's gonna be the cheapest way to actually buy frost cloth in bulk to protect a lot of plants. Now, frost cloth is sold in different weights. You can buy like half an ounce all the way through, I think, like 6-7 ounces, maybe higher. But the heavier the frost cloth, the thicker it is, and then the longer it will last, the stronger it will be. The thinner, it will still work. The lighter weights, the thinner ones, they will still work, but the problem with them is they rip very easily, so do not count on reusing that frost cloth every single year. So my advice is spend a little bit more money right now, so that way you can reuse it over time, and in the long run, it will save you some money. The next thing is decide what type of structure you're gonna build. For your cold sensitive plants, like this mango right here, this is a frame built out of 1/2-inch PVC. I have rebar in the ground, securing the post to the ground. And then up there in each corner, I have a 3-way 1/2-inch elbow. Very easy to put together. It's not the most expensive. And like I said, decide what type of structure you're going to build. This PVC right here works great in my area because not every winter it gets super windy. But if you are in really windy areas, well, this may not work because it will break. But in my area so far, this mango right here, it has lasted me for about 3 years. So you can either do PVC, you can do wood, you can do metal, it's up to you. But start thinking about it right now, so that way you can start buying new materials, you can start building the frames, so when winter comes, you are ready to go and your plants are not going to take damage. So once you have identified what type of plants you need to protect and how to protect them, you got all the materials ready to go, then what's next? Well, next is, when do you start protecting your plants? That is going to differ in the area that you live in. In my area, I'm in the desert, Arizona. Here, we usually get our first freeze the second week of December. So usually for me, for my plants over here, the first week of December, we start building the structures for all the cold sensitive plants, and we'll also start frost protecting our plants because I don't want to wait until the last minute because that's the surest way to kill your plants. So let's say you cover all your plants, you are ready for the winter, and you don't have to worry about anything. So what's next? Well, a lot of people ask, how long are you going to have to do all that work for your plants? Well, my answer every single time is, how do you wear a jacket every single winter? The answer is, of course. So what makes you think your plants are different? So you guess the answer. That is, every single year for the life of the tree. As your plants get older, they will become a little stronger. But if they're not native to your area and they do take frost or cold damage in your area, that means that plant will never be able to survive your winter without any protection. It may be able to make it one winter because it was a warm winter, but when it actually gets cold, because the temperatures are going to be different every single time, it's going to die. It doesn't matter if the tree made it for 2-3 years in the ground without any protection. If you get really cold one winter, you just lost everything. So how long do you need to protect it? Forever. So if you're going to start growing plants that are not native to your area and you know they're going to take damage in the winter time, that is one of the main things you got to keep in mind because it's a lot of work. The more plants you get, the more work you're going to have to do. Now, a lot of the things that I told you apply to plants that are tropical, plants that like warm weather. But what about you guys in cooler climates? Well, I can tell you everything that I told you in cooler climates where the soil freezes goes out the window because all the plants that I just mentioned are going to die unless you are able to cold protect every single plant by building like a little greenhouse around them and putting a heater in there every single year for the life of the tree. What's the coolest temperature most plants will be able to take? Well, plants are just like you and I, and every single plant is going to be different. But I can tell you, for most tropical plants, once you start getting into the mid-20s, that's when they will start taking damage. But it's not so much about the temperature, it's about how long. Like in cooler zones, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, where the soil freezes because it gets so cold, every single plant in those areas that are not native to those areas will get destroyed. This is the reason why in those areas you will hardly find a good selection of fruit trees because plants hate the cold. So what are some of the things that you can do to protect your plants in cooler climates where the soil freezes? Like this fix right here. In my area, I don't have to do anything. These are weeds. Easy to take care of in the wintertime until the soil freezes. So what can you do if you have something like this? Well, you can cover it, frost protect it for once. Then what you can do is you can insulate the ground all the way around the root ball of your plant and make sure that soil does not freeze. If you can prevent the area around the root ball of your plant from freezing, your plant, like this fig or this mulberry tree right here, will make it in the winter time. So how can you insulate it? Well, you can put mulch in the ground, like 1, 2, 3 feet of mulch to insulate that soil and prevent it from freezing. If you can do that every single year for the life of the tree, then you can go ahead and grow plants that are not native to your area. But anyways, guys, those are some of the tips that you can actually follow to have an easier time protecting your plants in the winter time. For me, summer is super easy. I live in the desert and people assume the sun is what kills most plants. In my experience, it's not. It's the winter and it's the hardest to protect because I have to protect most of my plants here. If you have any questions, as always, comment below. If you like the video, don't forget to like it, and I will see you next time.